The planet Erebos IV floated quietly under twin silver moons. It was a world of stone plains, soft winds, and endless silence. The surface was covered with strange ruins, half-buried structures, broken towers, and thousands of graves carved into the cold earth. Long ago, humans had lived here. Now only their names remained, glowing faintly in the pale moonlight. The Andara expedition landed on Erebos IV after months of travel. The team's leader, Dr. Lyra Miles, stepped out of the shuttle and looked across the silver horizon. Her boots touched the ancient ground and the dust rose slowly, like breath from a sleeping giant. Lyra was a woman who lived for discovery. She had studied the lost human colonies for years, worlds that humanity had built and then forgotten. This mission was special to her. Erebos IV was not on any modern map. It was a ghost planet, spoken of only in fragments of data and old stories. Her assistant Milo Trent walked beside her. He was younger, always curious, and always nervous when things became too quiet. "This place gives me chills," he said softly. "It feels like the planet's watching us," Lyra smiled. "Maybe it remembers us," she said. "Maybe it's been waiting." The camp was set up near what looked like a graveyard. The stones were arranged in perfect circles, each one marked with a name written in an old Terran language. Lyra knelt beside one stone and brushed off the dust. The letters were still clear. Elias Wren, 2099 AD, she frowned. The colony record said humans reached this planet in 3102 AD. So how could this grave be older than the colony itself? It made no sense. That night, as the others rested, Lyra stayed awake, walking between the graves under the soft glow of the moons. The silence was so deep that she could hear her own breathing echo back. She stopped near the center of the field. A low hum vibrated through the ground, faint but rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Lyra knelt down and pressed her hand against the earth. The hum grew stronger. It wasn't the wind or machinery. It felt alive. "Milo," she whispered into her comm. "Bring the scanner, now." Within minutes, Milo arrived, carrying the portable sensor. Together, they scanned the area. The readings showed an energy signature coming from beneath the graves, something buried deep underground and still active after hundreds of years. Milo stared at the display in disbelief. "This can't be right. The energy levels are stable, like it's being maintained." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Or like something's maintaining it." They followed the readings to a section where several gravestones formed a ring. Underneath was a large, flat metal surface. Dusting it off, they found a symbol, a simple circle with a spiral in the center. Lyra recognized it immediately. The Terran Memory Foundation. It was one of Earth's oldest programs. Centuries ago, the Foundation had tried to preserve human consciousness, saving emotions, memories, and thoughts inside energy-based archives. Most of those experiments had failed. The archives either decayed or went silent, but here, on a forgotten world, one was still alive. Lyra's heart pounded. "Milo, this could be the last working Foundation core in existence." He looked uneasy. "If it's still running, maybe it's protected. We should call the captain first." But Lyra shook her head. "If we wait, we might lose the signal. Help me open it." Together, they cleared the surface and found a small hatch built into the center of the symbol. The hatch had a hand-sized panel covered in dust. When Lyra wiped it clean, faint lights came to life. Access recognized. "Welcome, caretaker." Lyra froze. "Caretaker?" she whispered. "I'm not." Before she could finish, the hatch opened with a slow hiss. Inside, a narrow stairway led down into darkness. A faint blue light pulsed below like a heartbeat calling them inward. Milo hesitated. "This is the part in the movies where people disappear, you know." Lyra smiled faintly. "Then stay close." They descended carefully. The walls were made of smooth metal, covered with old engravings. Names, poems, fragments of human languages. The deeper they went, the louder the humming became until it filled their bones. At the bottom was a wide circular chamber. In the center stood a tall glass column filled with swirling light. Around it were thousands of data panels, each one flickering faintly. The air was cool and heavy, like standing inside a dream. Lyra stepped forward. The light in the column grew brighter. The hum became a gentle voice. "Who walks beneath the moonlight?" it asked softly. Milo stumbled back. "Did it just talk?" Lyra stared at the column. "Yes," she whispered. "It's aware." The voice came again, low and calm, like someone half asleep. "Are you human?" "Yes," Lyra said. We came from the stars. Who are you? There was silence, and then, once I was human too. I am Elior, the last caretaker of Arivos 4. Milo's eyes widened. A human mind? Still alive after centuries? Lyra felt a mix of wonder and sadness. Not alive, she said quietly. Remembered, the voice spoke again, slower now as if searching for memories. You stand among their dreams. I was chosen to watch over them. The graves above are my people. Lyra moved closer. How long have you been here? Time is strange to me, Elior said. The moons have changed. The stars have drifted, but I remember their voices. I remember their laughter. I remember waiting, Milo whispered. This is impossible. Consciousness doesn't last this long. But Lyra ignored him. Elior, she said softly, why were you left here? To remember, the voice replied. To keep their memories alive. To wait for someone who still cares. Lyra looked around the chamber. Each glowing panel represented a life, a memory, a dream. She felt tears sting her eyes. So much of human history had been lost. Wars, colonies, whole generations forgotten. And yet here was a fragment of it, still holding on beneath the moonlight. She placed her hand on the glass column. The light flared gently beneath her touch. You are warm, Elior said. It has been so long since I felt warmth. For a moment, Lyra couldn't speak. All her life, she had chased lost human stories. Ruins, relics, names carved in stone. But now she was talking to one. Elior, she said. The world above is empty now. The stars belong to others. But humanity still remembers. We're still out there. The voice grew softer. Then hope remains. Milo touched her arm. We should go back, Lyra. This place could collapse. It's old, she nodded slowly. You're right. We'll come back tomorrow with better equipment. Before they left, Elior spoke one last time. The moonlight keeps me awake, he said. Come again soon. It is lonely among the graves. As they climbed back up, the faint hum followed them until it faded into silence. When they reached the surface, the twin moons hung high above, painting the graves in silver light. The stones seemed to glow softly like the planet itself was breathing again. Milo looked uneasy. Do you think it's dangerous? Lyra shook her head. No, she said quietly. Just lonely. She looked up at the moons and then back down at the graves. For the first time, she didn't see them as tombs. She saw them as memories, waiting patiently for someone to listen. That night, as she lay awake in her tent, Lyra couldn't forget the voice that had asked, Who walks beneath the moonlight? It wasn't just a machine. It was human, trapped between time and silence, still longing to be remembered. And as she drifted into sleep, she whispered softly to the night, You're not alone anymore. The next morning, the twin moons of Arivos 4 had faded into the misty sky, but the strange humming sound still echoed faintly through the camp. Dr. Lyra Miles stood outside her tent, her eyes fixed on the graveyard. The air was calm, but the silence felt alive and like someone was watching, waiting. She couldn't stop thinking about the voice she had heard underground. Elior, the caretaker who claimed to remember the long-lost colony. It had sounded human, kind, and lonely. Lyra had studied many artificial systems before, but none had spoken like that. None had sounded alive. Milo joined her with 2 mugs of warm synth coffee. You didn't sleep, did you? He asked. Lyra shook her head, smiling faintly. Not much. I kept hearing that voice. It felt real. Milo sat beside her, rubbing his tired eyes. I checked the data logs. The signal's still there, same frequency, same pulse. Whatever that thing is, it's stable. That thing, Lyra said quietly, is someone. Milo didn't reply. He had seen that look in her eyes before. The same look she got when she believed she had found something important. Something worth risking everything for. By noon, the team gathered at the excavation site again. Lyra ordered 2 engineers to expand the tunnel leading to the underground chamber. Dust filled the air and flashes of blue light flickered from below. When they finally reached the room again, the glass column in the center glowed brighter than before, as if sensing their return. Lyra stepped forward. Elior, she called softly. It's me, Lyra. We came back. The chamber filled with a low hum, and the same calm voice answered. Lyra, I remember your voice. The air feels warmer today. Milo's eyes widened. It remembers your voice? Yes, she said. He does. Elior spoke again, his tone peaceful but heavy with age. You walk among my people again. I can feel the movement above the graves. Tell me, how many years has it been? Lyra looked at her scanner. More than 500 years since this colony was abandoned. There was a long pause. Then the voice whispered, "I'm 500, and I still remember them all." Around the chamber, the data panels flickered one by one. Soft holograms appeared. Faces of men, women, and children. They were laughing, working, living. Fragments of the past danced in the air like echoes of sunlight through dust. Milo gasped quietly. "These are memories," Lyra nodded. "Elior, you kept them all alive?" "I was their keeper," he said. "When the sickness came, they built this chamber to save their memories. They wanted someone to stay behind and remember what it meant to be human," I volunteered. "I thought it would only be for a short while. But time forgot me." The light dimmed slightly and Lyra felt an ache in her chest. She could almost imagine the people of Erebos IV building their last sanctuary, their last hope that someone, someday, would find them. She sat down near the column. "You said you volunteered. Did you know what would happen?" "They told me I would sleep with them, that I would awaken when help arrived. But the system did not let me sleep. It kept me awake, always listening to the hum of the moons, always remembering. I am made of their dreams now." Milo walked slowly around the room, scanning the walls. "Dr. Miles, these panels are running on lunar energy. That's why it's been active all this time. The moons charge the crystals embedded in the surface. But," he paused, "the readings are dropping fast. Maybe the system is decaying." Lyra looked up sharply. "Decaying?" Milo nodded. "Maybe a year, maybe less. If it fails, all these stored memories will vanish." Lyra turned back to the glowing column. "Elior, do you know your system is dying?" There was silence for a moment. Then the voice spoke quieter than before. "I have felt the fading. It grows darker each night. I thought it was only my mind slipping away." Her heart tightened. "We can fix it," she said quickly. "We can stabilize the energy flow, maybe transfer the archives to a new system. Can you do that?" he asked softly, hope breaking through the sadness. Lyra hesitated. "I'll try." For the next several days, she worked tirelessly with Milo and the engineers. They mapped the entire structure, studied the old data lines, and examined the power cells buried beneath the floor. Everything was ancient, fragile but beautifully designed. It was human work built with care and love. At night, when the others rested, Lyra stayed in the chamber, speaking with Elior. They talked about the old colony, about the gardens they once grew, the songs they sang, and the dreams they had of reaching new worlds. "We built homes from the stone of this planet," Elior said once. "We wanted to belong here, but the sickness spread fast. Children fell asleep and never woke up. The sky was always beautiful, though. The moons gave us light even when everything else faded." Lyra listened quietly. "You remember everything, even the sadness." "That is what it means to be human," he replied. "To remember both joy and sorrow. To carry them together." His words stayed in her mind long after she left the chamber each night. On the 5th day, Milo brought bad news. "The decay is faster than we thought. The moon crystals are cracking. Once they fail, the archive will shut down permanently." Lyra felt panic rise in her chest. "There has to be another way." "What about the main core?" He shook his head. "It's too old. The tech is beyond repair." That night, Lyra returned to Elior one last time, her heart heavy. The chamber glowed dimly now, the once bright lights flickering weakly. "Elior," she whispered, "your system is failing. I can't stop it." "I'm sorry." The voice came slowly, fading in and out like a dying flame. "Do not be sorry, Lyra. You came. You listened. For centuries I spoke to the stars, but they never answered." "You did." Tears filled her eyes. "There has to be something I can do." "There is one thing," he said. "If you connect to the core, even for a moment, your presence could stabilize the archives. Not forever, but long enough to preserve what remains. A human consciousness might give it balance." Milo's warning echoed in her mind. The system was unstable, old, unpredictable. But how could she leave him, leave them, to fade into silence? "I'll do it," she said softly. "It will be dangerous," Elior warned. "If it fails, your thoughts could scatter among mine." Lyra smiled sadly. "Then I'll be where humanity still lives and in memory." She sat near the core and opened her portable data link. The moment she connected the interface, the chamber flared with light. Waves of color surrounded her, warm and endless. For a brief moment she saw the colony as it once was. Children running, people laughing, gardens under silver moons. Elior's voice filled her mind, calm and steady. "You see them, don't you?" "Yes," she whispered. "They're beautiful." They were. And now they will live again. The energy surged, and Milo shouted from above, calling her name, but Lyra didn't move. She was lost in the sea of memories, feeling the warmth of hundreds of human hearts. Then slowly, the light dimmed. The system stabilized, if only for a while. The hum became gentle again. When Lyra opened her eyes, the hologram still glowed softly around her. Elior's voice spoke faintly, grateful. "You gave them peace." "You gave me peace," she smiled through her tears. "I just reminded them they were never forgotten." As she left the chamber that night, the graves above seemed to shine brighter under the moonlight. The air felt lighter, almost alive. Milo walked beside her quietly. "You think it'll last?" Lyra looked up at the glowing moons. "Maybe not forever," she said softly, "but long enough to be remembered." The hum beneath the ground followed them back to camp, gentle, peaceful, like the sound of a heart that still refused to stop beating. Days turned into weeks on Arivos 4, but Dr. Lyra Miles never stopped working. The moonlight still glowed over the silver plains, but each night it seemed dimmer, weaker, as if the planet itself was growing tired. The old archive beneath the graves. The chamber where Alier, the caretaker, waited but had grown unstable again. The soft hum that once filled the air was fading. The glowing walls were turning gray. Lyra and Milo stood at the entrance of the underground passage, their tools scattered across the dusty ground. The team's instruments showed the same message every morning: power declining. "Archive failure imminent," Milo sighed. "We've done everything we can, Lyra, it's not holding." But Lyra wasn't ready to give up. She had spent her life searching for humanity's forgotten places. She couldn't watch this one vanish. Not after hearing the voice that had waited so long. She looked at the glowing graves spread out under the moons. These people built something that lasted 500 years. I won't let it die in front of me. That night, when the others slept, she went down alone into the chamber. The air was heavy. The light that once shimmered like water now flickered weakly. The glass column in the center pulsed unevenly like a slowing heartbeat. "Elior?" she called softly. For a long moment there was silence. Then faintly, "Lyra, you came back." His voice was weaker than before, like a whisper from a faraway dream. "Yes," she said. "I told you I would. The moons are dim tonight. I can feel them fading through the stones." Lyra touched the glass column gently. It felt cold. "The system is failing again. We don't have much time." There was a pause. Then he said, "I am not afraid, Lyra. I have remembered long enough, but I don't want to vanish as if we never existed." Her eyes filled with tears. "You won't, I promise." "You are kind," he said softly. "Like the ones who built this place. Tell me, Lyra, what became of humanity? Did they find peace among the stars?" She smiled sadly. "We found many things, new worlds, new challenges. We changed and grew, but we never stopped searching. We still look for meaning. We still look for each other." "Then the dream lives," he whispered. "Even without us." The lights flickered again, brighter for a brief second, as if the world itself was listening. For the next few days, Lyra refused to leave the planet. The captain sent messages urging her to prepare for departure, but she ignored them. She couldn't walk away from the voice that still spoke under the moonlight. Milo stayed by her side, though he didn't fully understand. "You really believe he's human?" he asked one night. Lyra nodded. "He is human. Maybe not in body anymore, but in everything that matters, and in memory and heart and soul." She turned toward the graves glowing faintly across the plain. Elior remembered for 5 centuries. Now it's our turn. On the 7th night, the energy readings began to collapse completely. Alarms echoed through the camp. The power grid that connected to the underground structure overloaded. Milo rushed to Lyra. "The main core's going down. If it shuts off now, the whole archive could be lost." Without hesitation, Lyra ran toward the tunnel. Milo called after her, but she didn't stop. She climbed down the stairs into the chamber for the last time. The room was chaos. Lights flickering, panels breaking, sparks of blue energy floating in the air. The glass column pulsed erratically, and Elior's voice broke into fragments. "Lyra, the memories. They're slipping away." She stepped closer. "Hold on. I'm here. You should not have come, he said weakly. It is ending. The moonlight is gone, she shook her head. No, it doesn't end like this. You said humans remember both joy and sorrow, right? That's what you taught me. I can't let you fade. The readings on her wrist screen flashed red. System failure. Core stabilization required. Then she realized what she could do. The Foundation's archives were designed to respond to human presence, to use the energy of a living mind as a stabilizer. She had done it before briefly, but this time she knew it would take more. She looked up at the glowing column. Elior, if I link my mind to yours again, it might save the archive. It could trap you, he warned. You might never return. I know, she said softly. But you stayed here for them. Let me stay for you. There was silence. Then his voice came again, gentle and warm. You would do that. For someone long dead? She smiled faintly. For someone who never stopped remembering. She connected the neural link to the glass column. The light flared so brightly that the whole chamber filled with color. Gold, blue, silver, and white. The hum became a deep, steady rhythm that matched her heartbeat. For a moment, Lyra felt herself dissolve into light. She saw fragments of lives. A woman planting seeds under the twin moons, a child laughing in the rain, an old man writing stories on stone. The people of Erebos 4 were alive again, each memory shining like a small star. Elior's voice spoke inside her mind, calm and full of wonder. You see them, don't you? Yes, she whispered. They're beautiful. They were my family, he said softly. And now you are too. The memories swirled around her, endless and bright. She felt their love, their laughter, their hope. It was overwhelming but peaceful, like standing inside a song that never ended. Then Elior's voice became clear and strong. Lyra, your life is a story too. Don't forget that. You came from the stars and chose to remember us. That is what makes humans special. Not power, not time, but the heart that refuses to forget. Her eyes filled with tears. I won't forget. Then rest, Lyra, rest beneath the moonlight. I will watch over you as I watched over them. The light grew brighter, so bright that it swallowed everything. And then silence. Hours later, Milo and the others found the chamber quiet again. The lights had stopped flickering. The power readings were stable. The hum had returned, steady, peaceful, strong. But Lyra was gone. Only her headset and data tablet remained, resting beside the glowing column. Milo stared at the readings on the console. A new name had appeared in the archive's list of caretakers. Elior Miles. He whispered her name and smiled sadly. You did it, Doctor. You saved them. When the team returned to the surface, the night sky had changed. The twin moons shone brighter than ever before, lighting the graves in soft silver light. The hum of the planet was no longer sorrowful. It sounded calm, alive. And in the wind, a gentle voice echoed across the plains. Who walks beneath the moonlight? The question lingered, soft as a dream. Then another voice, warm, familiar, and new, answered. 2 of us now. Centuries later, a new generation of explorers landed on Erebos 4. The world was quiet, peaceful, glowing under the twin moons. They discovered the ancient graves, still shining faintly, and the entrance to the underground archive. Inside, they found the same chamber, alive and warm. The glass column glowed steadily, brighter than any other artifact they had ever seen. When they approached, a voice spoke from the air, gentle and kind. Welcome, travelers. You walk among memories. We remember you. The explorers looked at one another in awe. 2 voices spoke together, one male, one female, perfectly balanced. Who are you? They asked. We are the keepers, the voices replied. We remember what it means to be human. The explorers left the chamber that night filled with wonder. They looked up at the glowing moons and whispered that humanity's soul was still alive here, on this forgotten world, where love and memory had become eternal.